So what happens when a cybersecurity company gets hacked? You'd think they'd have a pretty solid playbook, right? But what if, instead of just fixing the problem, that company threatens the very people trying to figure out what happened? Well, you get a completely different kind of story. Let's get into it. This is a fascinating look at what happens when someone decides not to back down.
So when the hacker at the center of our story read the company's official threat, his first reaction wasn't fear. It wasn't even caution. It was just amusement. He literally wrote, "Oh my God, this is amusing me." And that one reaction, yeah, that tells you everything you need to know about where this is all going.
All right, so let's set the scene. Our story kicks off with something that, honestly, is pretty standard in the cybersecurity world. A company gets breached, but what they did next was anything but standard.
It all started right here. B-Prime, a company whose entire business is selling security, had a huge security failure. They had to go public with it, which they did. But it's how they did it that threw a whole lot of gasoline on the fire.
Okay, so if you look at their official statement, the first few points are straight out of the Crisis Comms 101 playbook. You know, we got an attack, we have protocols, clients are fine. Standard stuff. But then, boom, the tone completely flips. They go from explaining their own failure to threatening legal action. They're basically saying, if you're a researcher or a journalist talking about this, we've identified you and we're coming for you.
All right, so that's the company's move. Let's flip the script now and look at this from the other side. Because for the person analyzing this whole mess, that corporate threat wasn't a warning sign. It was more like an invitation. Think about it. For you or me, a legal threat from some giant corporation, that's terrifying. It's designed to make you shut up and go away. But for this individual, it did the exact opposite. It lit a fire under him. It was a challenge.
And you gotta understand, this wasn't some angry, impulsive tweet. No. This was cold, calculated. He had a step-by-step plan. He wasn't just gonna rant. He was going to dismantle their threat and turn it right back on them, using their own turf, LinkedIn, as his stage.
Okay, so the big question is, why? Why wasn't he scared? I mean, who hears, "We've identified you," and decides to poke the bear even harder? Well, the answer lies in a past that is just wild.
This quote right here says it all. A corporate lawsuit? Please. That's absolutely nothing compared to what he'd already been through. His fearlessness isn't just bravado, it was forged in a very real fire.
Just look at this timeline. It's insane. Back in 2017, he's arrested by Interpol. In prison, they put him through absolute hell, threatening his mother, his partner, and at one point even withholding his inhaler while he was having an asthma attack. And the kicker, the absolute peak of irony? After he gets out, the very same agent who tormented him comes to him asking for lessons on Bitcoin.
So you see, the worst had already happened to him. He'd already hit rock bottom. When you've lost it all before, your partner, your career, your entire life as you knew it, how scary can a strongly worded letter from a lawyer really be? His whole perspective on risk was just fundamentally broken and rebuilt.
So going through all of that didn't just strip away his fear, it actually turned him into a student of fear itself. He started to see it everywhere, this invisible tool that's constantly used to control people, not just him, but everyone.
And he makes this really incredible connection. He remembers how dictatorships in South America would use these huge spectacles, like the World Cup, to distract everyone from the horrible things they were doing. And he sees the same tactic today, just on a much smaller, more personal scale. People are so scared of a nasty comment, of a mean retweet, that they just freeze up.
And this is the core of it, right? This is the question that just haunts him. Why are we so terrified of some tiny, immediate online risk that we're willing to just give up on a massive collective good? He sees people get paralyzed by that one click, unable to act even when it really, really matters. And he just decided, nope, that's not going to be me.
And all of this, his past, his philosophy on fear, it all comes together and brings us right back to B-Prime's threat. He was ready. He was about to turn his ideas into a very public performance.
So what does he do? He goes straight to the source, right into the belly of the beast, the comment section on their official LinkedIn post. I mean, you cannot get more corporate and more public than that.
And just read this message. It is brilliant. On the surface, it's so polite, so professional. Oh, I'm just a concerned citizen trying to help you responsibly inform society. But the sarcasm is just dripping off every single word. Finishing it with, "I wish you a speedy recovery." It is a total masterclass in how to fight back with a smile.
Oh, but he wasn't done. Not by a long shot. He then attaches this, a full-blown professional-looking risk assessment chart. He's using their own corporate language, their own metrics, to show everyone just how badly they failed. We're talking critical national security risks, potential power grid blackouts, all laid out right there in public for all their clients and competitors to see.
So this whole thing started with a company trying to use fear to create silence. But it ended up showing us what happens when you threaten someone who has nothing left to fear. And it kind of leaves us all with a pretty heavy question, doesn't it? In our own lives, when we feel that pressure to just stay quiet, what does it take to turn that fear into action?